Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Hope you're all good and healthy. On behalf of Cotton Council International, I would like to welcome you to the second webinar held by Cotton USA. Selamat pagi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. My name is Ima Wibowo, and it's a pleasure for me to be your host for today's online event. And before we start, let me first say thank you for participating in this webinar. And I hope we will all be having a great time here, learning new insights about more sustainability to protect our world in the future. I would also like to inform all of you that this webinar will be conducted in two languages, which are Indonesian and English, because we have local and international guests joining this webinar. And this webinar is being brought to you today from Cotton US's desire to share and discuss our insights on important issues which are developing as a result of our new normal lives during this coronavirus period. And as a reminder, Cotton Council International, or CCI, is a non-profit organization, and CCI does not sell anything and does not make a profit from any of our activities. CCI is a promotional organization with the mission to promote the use of US cotton in the world and in Indonesia. CCI gives information to the Indonesian mills about US cotton and ways to market it throughout the supply chain. And if you do have any question, please do not hesitate to ask by writing down your question in the Q&A box, as you can see on your screen now. You will find this Q&A button, and you can type the question in the box anytime along this webinar. So, and later of this, at the end of this webinar, we will try to answer as many as questions that we can answer. And we will start in a few minutes. Therefore, I will introduce today's panelists. And please join me in welcoming and give a warm virtual welcome to, first we have Vice President Director, Pan Brothers Group Indonesia, Mrs. Anna Sutanto.
Good morning or good evening for those who are in US. Thank you very much, Pak Imam, for moderating. Thank you, Cotton USA, for giving us opportunity to actually share what we have in the textile and garment communities. Thank you. Back to you, Imam.
Terima kasih, Ibu Ana. Semoga sehat-sehat selalu. Dan juga berikutnya, we have CEO of MB Plumbon Textiles Indonesia, Mr. Vijay Agarwal. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Imam. It's a great opportunity to see all the information from Cotton USA and the lending also with the natural and sustainability. And I am hopeful that our viewer can understand and they can ask as question as they feel. So that will be a great thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vijay. Once again, also thank you for joining us for this webinar. And we also have Director of Kahatex Group Indonesia, Mr. Andi Trisna. Selamat pagi, Bapak Andi Trisna. Good morning.
Hello. Hi. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank Cotton USA and CCI for inviting me for this seminar. And I'd like to say I'm very honored to be here today. Thank you.
Terima kasih. Thank you to Bapak Andi Trisna. And also, we have Director of Global Business Development Apparel for Lansing Fibers USA, Miss Tricia Carey. Good morning or good evening to you, Miss. Okay, to Miss Tricia, would you please unmute your screen, your Zoom?
Sorry, I went to unmute and it went away.
It's okay.
Hello, good evening, and thank you for the invitation. And it's wonderful that during these times while we're limited to meet in person, that we're able to use our digital channels to stay connected.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tricia. Thank you for joining us also for this webinar. And we have Executive Director of CCI USA, Mr. Bruce Atterley. Good morning or good evening to you, sir.
Good morning to everybody in Indonesia. It's a pleasure to join you all again. I hope you like my attire. I'm wearing batik made from U.S. cotton, made in Indonesia, of course. I know it's not a Friday, but I decided that, it would be appropriate for me to wear batik for the seminar. So I'm looking forward to talking with you and our special guest, Trisha Carey from Lenzing, about sustainability tonight.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bruce Atterley, for joining us for this webinar, and a big appreciation for wearing our traditional art. Looking great, sir. All right, and from CCI representative for Indonesia, we also have Dr. Andy Do. Selamat pagi, Dr. Andy. Good morning.
Selamat pagi semuanya, bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu. Selamat datang ke eventnya dari Cotton USA.
Terima kasih Bapak Andi, Mr. Andi, thank you so much. Baiklah Bapak Ibu dan yang sudah bergabung partner bis dari CCI. Untuk topik pertama, for the first topic, we're gonna talk in a general point of view on the importance of environmental sustainability. First question goes to our three Indonesian panelists, our executive. We have Ibu Ana, Mr. Vijay, and Bapak Andi. Recent research shows that consumer place more importance on their health and are more concerned about the environment and sustainability. Could you please explain to us what your companies are doing to be more environmentally friendly and sustainable? Bu Ana, your answer?
So thank you very much, Pak Imam. So for us, where Penn Brothers cater 97% for export business, and our partners, our buyer partners are mostly global brands who always insist or who always have a DNA of sustainability as well as environmental friendly, social compliance. So compliance and sustainability right now hand to hand actually is the ingredients of Penn Brothers per se. Because since I joined the company in 1997 until today, we are always catering global brands and global retailers. So for us in Penn Brothers itself, we have actually do a sustainability report since 3 years ago. We have done a lot of focus on energy as well as environmental. Social compliance is always the key for us because we are labor-intensive industry. We employ about 40,000 workers. So for us now, the challenge is not just about environmental or also social compliance, but these days is also since February, of course, since Wuhan case, it's actually about also the safety and the health of our workers and the family. Because this is something that we need to make sure to ensure that the efficiency and productivity of our companies are still there. The health need to be preserved, yet we also need to comply to the social as well as the environmental. So the sustainability report is being imposed for us since we are also a listed company in Indonesia, and we are launching this report actually since 3 years ago. Because the key is not only about doing it, but how to administer it. And because we have a lot of factories in Penn Brothers, about 25 factories in 8 locations, we have to ensure that every factory actually not just doing it because of the policy, but they actually administer, making sure that the report is as accountable as possible. So it's not just only the actions, but also the control behind the sustainability report or the CSR that we have done within the factories and within that brand. Back to you, Imam.
Ibu Ana, I think you have done a lot of these good things, And could you tell us a little bit, when did you started all those antibacterial, antivirus processes? For us to know more, yeah.
So this happened actually when Wuhan happens in February. the global brands has remind us that Indonesia would also get the impact on infections. Even before the government of Indonesia gave the announcement early March, we actually have started the development of the antivirus fabrics for our mask productions. And since we need to equip all of our workers with masks back then in early March, we actually proposed antivirus for our own workers. But then afterwards, it get into our retail and our B2B because also a lot of friends of ours require us to actually supply them the masks. And when WHO, World Health Organization, and CDC actually said that masks would actually minimize the infection of this COVID-19, we actually launched this antivirus product, both the antivirus as well as antivirus water repellent. And the fabrics that we use, let me show you what I wear every day, is actually both mostly natural fiber, cotton, as well as rayon plastic. Of course, some has polyester in it, but it's a blended base.
Thank you, Ibu Ana. Thank you for your reply.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Ana, for your answer, and also to Mr. Andy for your response. And same question goes to Mr. Vijay. Could you explain to us what is your company doing to be more environmentally friendly and sustainable? Mr. Vijay?
Thank you, Mr. Imam. PTMB basically is a spinner. We have our operation in 2 locations in Cirebon and Majalengka. This is a total capacity of 240,000 spindle. Our initial focus on the natural fibers. We buy large quantity of BCA, this BCI cotton, and also we see that a large quantity of American and Australian cotton with the Cotton Lead program and Cotton USA program also. So all the cotton grown substantially with the minimum damage of the environment. And apart from this, we do our new product line with the bamboo fiber also, which is also antibacterial, biodegradable. And we see the demand for bamboo is increasing, and we do for bamboo cotton blends also. And this, in addition to, you see the Lenzing is doing an excellent job to promote this modal, tencel, lot of varieties fibers available. So we buy large quantity of these fibers also, and also blending with the cotton. So this is also an excellent blend. And all this is certified with FSC certified. So this is ultimately environment friendly and sustainability and the preserving rainforest. Now recently we have also started polyester also, recycled polyester from PET bottles, which is also we are blending with the cotton. So that is also certified GRS and is also produced in Indonesia now. So this is all the efforts to see going in this direction, what our garment producers, what our knitters in export market and local market, what they need, because we are also exporting 70%. So this is a quite large exposure to Europe and USA also. And what I see that Indonesia also, and then Europe and then other part of world, this type of requirements are increasing day by day. And the substantial growth will be there on the antivirus, antibacterial items. So we are very careful nowadays with the COVID-19, our following all the technical rules, whatever imposed by the government. We practice all the masks, wearing, working distancing, and then all the no large gatherings with the hand washing. So at least, fortunately, till today, the factories are running smoothly, and we able to serve throughout the world and local market also. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vijay, for your answer. So now it's time for Mr. Or Bapak Andi Trisna. The same question from me. What is your company doing to be more friendly and sustainable? Pak Andi Trisna.
Okay, so health and safety is very important for us at Cartex. That is why we follow all government regulations for COVID-19. For example, mandatory wearing of masks, social distancing, and increasing the number of hand washing stations. We also use the latest technology in energy and water management. For example, in water recycling. This includes replacing our older machines with newer machines, which use less water and energy to operate. Waste management is also very important for us. And one example was by mixing the waste cotton fibers, tensile fibers, and polyester fibers, mixing them together to make carpet, such as rugs, which we also do the local community sometimes. And recently, we've been working with a European brand to develop new methods to recycle cotton and polyester from waste fabrics or waste garments. And depending on our customer requirements, we produce garments and socks with antibacterial properties. Thank you.
Oh, Pak Andi, you mentioned that you use a lot of cotton waste mixed with polyester waste to do the carpet for the community. Is that part of your corporate social responsibility program?
Yep, that's something we do together with our community to serve our community, to work together with our community better.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It's so interesting to see two Andys talking to this morning. We have Mr. Andy Do and Mr. Andi Trisna. Thank you so much once again to Bapak Andi Trisna, Mr. Vijay, and Ibu Ana for your answer. Now, I have a similar question for Mr. Bruce Atterley and Ms. Tricia Carey. First, to Mr. Bruce Atterley, who is looking great and distinguished in his batik. Could you please tell us a little about the U.S. cotton industry's position on sustainability? Mr. Bruce, please.
Yes, thank you. I'd love to talk about that. It's a very topical subject, obviously. And as many of you know in the audience, U.S. cotton has a long history of producing our cotton sustainably. You know, for many years, our farmers have employed sustainable production techniques, and we've been reducing our impact from the land steadily. We actually measure all this via data collected via the USDA. So, for example, we know that over the last 35 years, U.S. cotton uses 82% less water to produce a pound of lint than we did 35 years ago. So, that's one example of the kind of progress that we've made. You know, having said that, you know, as all of you know in the audience, brands are demanding more. They want to increase their sustainability credentials. And so U.S. cotton has had to respond to those demands. And so we're the first country in the world to create quantifiable goals for sustainability. For 2025, we've set 6 goals of reducing our environmental footprint, things like, again, reduction of water usage, reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, soil loss goals, etc. And the way that we're going to achieve those, again, while we have a good record, you also want to up your game, if you will, and do even better. Continuous improvement is what it's all about. And so we created something called the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol. Okay, the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol is a new program, and it's aimed at helping us achieve those goals that I just laid out for 2025. And what I'm going to do now is share my screen with you for a very brief 5 slides about the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol. I hope that many of you will join us in Cotton Day, Indonesia, so that we can share a lot more detail with you at that time. Now, okay, so here's the first slide. So what's the objective of this Trust Protocol. As was mentioned earlier, there's many different protocols out there. There's BCI, there is Cotton Leads, there's Cotton Aid in Africa. Our objective was to create a new standard that brings quantifiable and verifiable goals and measurement, real data, to more sustainable cotton production that drives continuous improvement in 6 key sustainability metrics. Now, everyone in the supply chain, whether you're a brand, retailer, mill, manufacturer, will have the opportunity to join the protocol. And as part of that, you'll be granted access to third-party verified sustainability performance metrics that can help you with the kind of reports that Ann was talking about in terms of your sustainability reports going forward. So from a quick summary of the differences between the Cotton Trust Protocol and other programs that are out there, and we think all the sustainability programs are good, but the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol is about data, real quantifiable data, verified by a third party, in this case it'll be Control Union, to provide evidence of environmental improvement so that you guys can make claims, global brands and retailers can make claims by using U.S. cotton. We were just recently accepted into the Textile Exchange program, their preferred fiber list. That was, new news as of about 6 or 8 weeks ago. So we're very excited because the Textile Exchange is a well-recognized body, and it tells people that the protocol is on the right track to delivering sustainable cotton. So we want to be on everybody's list of sustainable fibers. From a status standpoint, just so you know, last year was a pilot. We enrolled about 300,000 bales in the Trust Protocol in the 2019 crop. That data will be available starting this fall. But this fall, we expect to have at least 1 million bales enrolled, again, with the fall harvest starting in August with our new cotton crop year, and then the data being available sometime in 2021. And then by 2025, when we're supposed to achieve those goals I laid out earlier, we're targeting to have at least 50% of U.S. cotton, over 8 million bales, enrolled in the Trust Protocol. So we're really excited about the progress that we see going forward. And so in conclusion, this really underpins and verifies our sustainability credentials. We want to be able to give brands, retailers, mills, manufacturers the assurance you need to know that the cotton in your supply chain is sustainably grown without the environmental and social risks that might have been associated with cotton in the past. So that's a quick summary of the protocol. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to turn it over to Tricia Carey to let her talk about Lenzing's sustainability efforts, because again, they've been a terrific leader in the world of cellulosic fibers. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Bruce. It's great to get the update on the Cotton Protocol. And for Lenzing, our sustainability platform is based off a program we call Naturally Positive, where we focus on the areas that we feel we can have the most impact. So just for a little background, Lenzing is a 2.1 billion euro company. We make 1 million tons of fiber a year. We make viscose, which we also brand as EcoVero viscose. And then we make Tencel lyocell and Tencel modal. We have 7 manufacturing facilities around the world, and we are also backwards integrated to even manufacture our own pulp. If you could just put up the slides, please. I'd like to highlight a little bit more about our Naturally Positive platform and some of our sustainability targets, which, similar to what Bruce was talking about, we base on the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. Our strategy is a comprehensive materiality analysis, which is the result of input from external stakeholders, such as customers, investors, NGOs, academics, as well as internal stakeholders. And this is the basis for our sustainability platform. I'm going to highlight 3 specific areas of focus. The first is responsible forestry. So all of our fibers are made from a renewable raw material, wood. We have a global pulp policy, which states that we only use FSC and PEFC certified and controlled wood sources. Vijay touched on this earlier about our FSC certification. This connects us back to SDG 15, if you could go to the next slide, which is life on land. And this is where we support conservation efforts and reforestation projects. As in particular, we have one in Albania that we're working on now. We also have an NGO called Canopy that supports responsible forestry and audits all of man-made cellulosic fiber producers annually. In the latest Canopy Hot Button report from 2019, Lenzing maintains a lead position by achieving increased scores for transparency, circularity, and conservation. The second area I'd like to highlight on the next slide is around SDG 13, and this is related to climate action. In 2018, Lenzing was a signatory of the UN Fashion Charter for Climate Change, in which the industry looked to reduce CO2 emissions 30% by 2030. Lenzing committed to go even further to reduce certain CO2 emissions by 50% by 2030, and even set a net zero carbon by 2050. Additionally, with our strong commitment to SDG 13, in 2019, Lenzing was the first and only man-made cellulosic fiber producer to have an approved science-based target. Globally, there are only 402 companies across all industries that have approved science-based targets. And on the next slide, I want to highlight the third area of focus, which is SDG 12, which is responsible consumption and production. And this is where we focus on the circular economy. Here we look at a variety of initiatives from our closed loop production process of Tencel Lyocell to even our Refibra technology, where we upcycle post-industrial and post-consumer waste to make new fiber. And this brings another level of responsible production to our fiber portfolio. We also have certifications for biodegradability in water and land, as well as compostability in soil. On the next slide, to summarize, our Lenzing solutions are based on responsible sourcing of forestry to have a lower footprint overall and bringing sustainable, responsible innovations to market with transparency and partnerships. That is our overview of the Lenzing sustainability platform.
Ms. Tricia, your presentation is so interesting. If we would like to have more detailed information, where should we go to? What are the links that you recommend us to go to? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Andy. You can always find more information on our website, lenzing.com. We publish our annual sustainability report in March, and this year we released the report on March 21st, which is the United Nations International Day of Forests. So you can find our full report, which is about 125 pages. So it's a lot of transparency right there. You can find it all on lenzing.com.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ms. Tricia. Thank you for the information.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bruce and Ms. Tricia, for your answer about your industry's position on sustainability. But I think I have one question to Mr. Bruce. Could you highlight if our viewers or our business partner want to know more about the U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol, who should they contact? Is there maybe any website to visit, Mr. Bruce?
Yes, so the website is actually not live yet, but it will be called trustuscotton.org. Andy will be sending out more information on that. It will be live later on in July. And just a quick couple of answers to a couple of questions that I saw come in on the Q&A. It was asked about how does it compare to BCI? I'll tell you, it's similar but different. You know, for large industrialized cotton production farms like we have in the US, BCI just was not applicable. So that's why we created our own. But it's similar to BCI in that it has a set of standards, a questionnaire that the producer has to answer, and again, third-party independent verification that those practices are being done. It's different in that it has quantifiable data as an output. The other question that was asked is, when will it be ready? By August 1st, we'll be ready to sign up both growers and brands, retailers, mills, manufacturers. And the other question was, will apparel brands in Europe and the US adopt it? And the short answer is we hope so. We are going to be presenting to them very aggressively over the next 6 to 12 months. And we think that many of them are going to adopt the Trust Protocol cotton as part of their world of sustainable fibers, much as if they would designate BCI, organic cotton, etc. So thanks for those questions, guys.
Okay, thank you Mr. Bruce for your answer. Nah, untuk Bapak Ibu dan juga bisnis partner dari CCI yang hadir pada pagi hari ini, sekali lagi jika Anda memiliki pertanyaan apapun juga sepanjang webinar ini, kami persilakan untuk menggunakan Q&A box dan juga button yang sudah kami siapkan. Bapak Ibu bisa bertanya sepanjang acara ini berjalan, apa saja nanti kami akan coba di akhir acara untuk mencoba mengakomodir dan menjawab satu persatu dari pertanyaan tersebut. So I would like to remind again the audience that if you have any question during this webinar that you want to ask to our panelists now, please use our available channel or room for Q&A. Thank you so much. Now, we have a same question for our three Indonesian executive, Ibu Ana, Mr. Vijay, and also Bapak Andi Trisna. So you have heard about this U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol program and Lenzing sustainability programs. What are your thoughts on each program? And could you please answer this from the perspective of your own company, and also how this may help you to meet the needs of your customers? I'm going to go to Ibu Ana first. Ibu Ana.
Yes, thank you, Imam. So, like what I've said earlier, sustainability is always part of our supply chain. And it's not just about the brands who are asking, but we also need to be concerned for our sustainability, not just on tier 1, we call ourselves garment tier 1, but also our tier 2 and tier 3. So the supply chain that we have introduced and would be our ecosystem for the future, and it's also going to be revealed in every transparency that Penn Brothers has, is how we actually need the raw material that we use is as sustainable as the garment that we produced. It's not only the whole supply chain and traceability, it's where we actually got the fabrics or the yarn from, or the raw material come from. So when last year we did the tour with a CCI in US, this Cotton US protocol has been reintroduced to us and have been introduced to us. Bruce, Andy, if you remember about this, where we ask as the supply chain, we ask if possible the Cotton US protocol could be reviewed together with the whole brand, so that the whole supply chain not necessarily only has the BCI cotton. Why? Because we believe that the transparency, the reliability of US Cotton Trust Protocol is similar or even better than BCI. This is not about better or not, but it is within the SDGs that we would like to impose on this supply chain. So understanding that there are other things in the market, especially when Lansing with Tricia mentioned about the SDGs that are being addressed, reassure us within the downstream of the business that the options of natural fiber on sustainability are all there. And this would actually help us to introduce back to the brands, to the global brands, when we do product development and when we do a seasonal project for them that has the context of sustainability in a big effort. Yeah. So these collaborations from the upstream up to the downstream, where everyone is aligned with the sustainability concept and where the market is indeed going to be more sustainable in the future, would help us within the industry to get options, varieties, and diversifications of our business, which is much needed these days, especially during and after COVID-19. Back to you, Imam.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Ana, for your answer. Now the same question to Mr. Vijay. What is your company thought about this U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol and Lenzing Sustainability Program? Mr. Vijay.
Thank you, Mr. Imam. See that we are the first direct user of these type of raw materials. And then definitely I am agree with Ibu Ana. If garment need all the supply chain, we are the first to use all this material. And we as a spinner, now we see that this program, Cotton USA and Cotton Sustainability Program, will going to be beneficial for all the textile industry in Indonesia and around the world also. And since Indonesia import large quantity of cotton, since they are not growing, so this is the thing where they can substantially differentiate with them and with other part of cotton with the cotton protocols, these US protocols. And so far we have very good experience with BCI, which help promoting our products around the world and international market also. And I personally feel that US Cotton Trust Protocol will be even better to differentiate and promote sustainability and product also. So if you see Cotton USA and Lenzing, which is also working very much on the same area of more scientific way, what we see, more scientific way. So this partnership will be excellent, and we are going to have excellent results ultimately, and it's a viable product in the market. So we can serve from Indonesia, a lot of exports are there. We have good presence in Europe, we have good presence in USA. So we are going to serve all the community. And moreover, since I am all the information of Cotton USA, Cotton Trust Protocol is available on website, and we are very close relation with Lenzing. Even we have some monthly meeting with the Lenzing office in SPB. So, and well connected with the Hong Kong also, well connected with Singapore also. So they have very good presence. So this, all the knowledge will be helpful to promote all these products, and whatever things what we feel, our feedback is a very close cooperation. So I think let's see by this both the things are in practice, and then value chain need this material, and we are ready to promote all these things, to manufacture all these things. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Vijay for your answer. And I'm going to go to Bapak Andi Trisna. Same question. What is KHTX Group perspective about this U.S. Cotton Trust Protocol and Lenzing sustainability programs, and how this may help you or the KHTX groups to meet the needs of your customers? Bapak Andi Trisna?
Yes, I agree that a lot of global brands are interested in more sustainable materials. So I believe that Lenzing's Natural Positive program is a good alternative for sustainable material. And I agree with Bu Ana that there's a huge demand, a lot of requests from global brands to use BCI and organic cotton. And I believe that the US Trust Protocol program can help complement the demand for BCI cotton to ensure that there is a strong supply of sustainable cotton. Thank you.
I'm so excited when I hear the three of you talking about the situation as you do. For the audience, may I approach my question on a different angle? By doing those good things, very good things, you know, for the sustainability, you will be incurring some additional operating costs. And I'm sure that you have a strategy to absorb these costs. Could you please elaborate a little bit on that issue? Either, yeah, Ibu
I
An? Yeah, yeah.
I think, Andy, sustainability is part of our responsibility within the supply chain as well as the responsibility of the customer and the clients. But you are right. The world would demand sustainability as if there is no additional price into it. So this, okay, at start, this might be a big challenge for all of us within the industry to ensure that we can supply the sustainability raw material as well as sustainability goods for our clients or end customers, because the brands is basically also part of the supply chain. But then if this goes through all the habit, all the best practices, all the governance within the whole supply chain, by the learning curves that we have within each of subsectors that we have, it will eventually come to the normalcy or marketable solutions that are good for the environment and that are good for all of us here within supply chain. Because, okay, at start, learning curve is always the cost, right? But as soon as it becomes the good habit, it actually can be induced to have the cost effectiveness itself. And throughout the time, it will actually have cost competitiveness as well as the non-sustainable part. Because at the end, it's a circle economy, right? Like what Tricia has mentioned. When we start something, it seems quite costly because we are not used to it. But then when the times come, it becomes circle economy, and then all the waste, all the unnecessary parts that we did before, which are not going to happen within the sustainability part, is going to anyway reduce the COGS within us. So it happens, for example, within FSC industries when Pak Vijay as well as Tricia mentioned about FSC. It also happened, for example, with the US Cotton Trust protocol. If we impose on better sustainability on all the supply chain, eventually the amount of discrepancy, the amount of inconsistency would not be there, because everyone has the passion to do what they do, because deep down, every human in the world would like to do something better for our environment and for our society. That's my theory in terms of philosophy or psychology of life. Yeah. And I know it sounds very ideal, but then life is not ideal. But as soon as it becomes habit, it just becomes our way of life. Yeah, that's my philosophy and my theory of life, even to manage the company. As soon as we do exercise all the policy that we want, it's hard from starts, first year, second year, but after third year, fourth year, it becomes habits. It's like you brushing teeth. It's like all of us brushing teeth. It's always like that. From day one, when we are born, we are being disciplined by our parents, but it becomes our good habit.
Yeah. Thank you, Ibu An. Thank you. Pak Vijay, any comment, Pak Vijay, on the additional cost?
Yeah,
in your
I
company?
will be more practical, because we are the spinner. We have to produce and we have to sell. Whatever cost is there, definitely there is some cost is there, but whether people are ready to pay. We have a 80% export, and we do all the export to 46 countries. Although Indonesia is not prepared for all these high cost items, but we use lot of tencel fiber, modal fiber, blending with cotton, bamboo fiber, and FSC certified fibers also, where their cost is there. BCI also cost is there. Very good demand in Europe, because Europe, at least now people understand their hygiene, healthy, and so environment friendly products should be get more and more price also, and that acceptable. I think this trend is going also. We have started in Indonesia also, which is encouraging. We are increasing by 10% every year. So that is quite encouraging nowadays. And with this COVID-19, I feel that things will change drastically around the world.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very interesting. Pak Andi, any comment, Pak Andi? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Andy, for your question. I believe that in the long term, as sustainable materials become more commonplace, people will accept, well, firstly, they will accept there is an added cost to this. And at the same time, that in the long term, I believe that the cost of renewable materials will also reduce as more best practices evolve from this. But in the short term, especially because of the COVID-19 situation, the end consumer has less buying power. To believe in the short term, manufacturers and brands have to absorb some of the added costs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pak Andi. Yeah.
Okay, thank you to Ibu Ana, Mr. Vijay, and also Pak Andi Trisna for your answer, and also Mr. Andido for your response. Bisa dibilang bahwa Bapak Ibu, keberlangsungan merupakan hal yang sangat krusial bagi industri US Cotton ataupun kapas Amerika. Dan sampai saat ini Cotton USA telah berhasil mengurangi hingga 82% penggunaan air dalam memproduksi kapas jika dibandingkan dengan 35 tahun yang lalu. Para pelaku dan juga para penggerak industri juga telah sepakat untuk menjadikan prinsip sustainability ini sebagai prioritas dan juga goals pada tahun 2025 nanti. Yang dikenal dengan sebutan US Cotton Trust Protocol. Dan untuk informasi lebih lanjut terkait program tersebut ataupun US Cotton Trust Protocol dan bagaimana bisa turut serta di dalamnya, seperti tadi yang Mr. Bruce sampaikan, Anda bisa mengunjungi website ataupun laman trustuscotton.org. Oke. Nah, Bapak Ibu dan juga para peserta yang hadir pada webinar kali ini, kita akan sedikit break. Kita akan sedikit lebih interaktif dengan Anda. We're gonna make this webinar more interactive. Now I'm gonna ask you to look at your screen. Once again, let's gather around again. We're gonna have a quick polling. Okay, you can see on your polling, on your screen. Okay, we have this polling. Just choose which answer that best to you. Okay, first polling is, companies are beginning to build into their daily business habits different types of sustainability programs. For your company, what amount of your total manufacturing do you think has sustainable practices? Choice number 1, 75% to 100%, and then 50% to 75%, or 25% to 50%, or 0% to 25%. Let's vote now. I'm just gonna wait for about 10 seconds. I don't think that's too difficult to answer. Okay, just vote now. Once again, companies are beginning to build into their daily business habits different types of sustainability programs. For your company, what amount of your total manufacturing do you think has sustainable practices? 75% to 100%, 50% to 75%, 25% to 50%, or 0% to 25%. Okay? Okay, I think we already got the result now for our first polling. For the choice number 1, 75% to 100%, we have 22% answer. And then for 50% to 75% is 48%. And for 25% to 50% is 22%. And for 0% to 25% is 9%. Thank you so much for joining our first polling. Now let's get back to our webinar. My next question will go to Mr. Bruce Atterley. It's kind of interesting. This webinar is sponsored by Cotton USA, the Cotton USA. Could you tell us why you wanted to include Lenzing today? Are you guys like competitors? Mr. Bruce, your answer?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and several people have asked me about that. I think it goes back to a couple different things. First, what Ann said earlier, Ann said collaboration up and down the supply chain is the key to winning this sustainability war, if you will. And so we decided about 3 years ago, Tricia and I, that we should start to work together in several different areas to see what we could achieve together. And she'll talk more about that in a minute. But, you know, Lenzing has been a leader in sustainability. And quite honestly, we thought Cotton USA could learn some things from working with Lenzing. Second of all, as you guys know, because you make fibers and you make fabrics and garments, the combination of Lenzing fibers, whether that's Tencel, Modal, and U.S. Cotton make for terrific, products. Blends are the way of the world now. So we love doing blends. Trish and I actually collaborated to make a golf shirt with U.S. Cotton and Tencel that's pretty good. And finally, our major competitor is polyester, and the major competitor for Lenzing is polyester. So we share that. So from my standpoint, that's the reason why we're working together.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bruce, for your answer and response. I'm going to go to Ms. Tricia. Do you have any comments on the relationship between Lenzing and Cotton USA? Ms. Tricia, please.
Yes, I also think this is a great question, and really it comes down to a lot of what Bruce said is that we're both focused, our companies are both focused on lowering impacts for the environment. And I think Bruce was really the one who had a larger vision and said we could do more if we actually work together. And so there's no sense feeling like we're competitors. And we already saw that our yarn spinner partners, like Anne mentioned and VJ, are already spinning blends with our fibers. So why shouldn't we work together? And overall, it's more than just companies working together. It's people who make the progress within the companies. And I really accredit that to Bruce and his vision. I think also people need to understand the entire fiber market. So globally, there's 105 to 110 million tons of fiber that are produced every year, all the fibers. And that's about 60% is polyester and synthetics, 25% is cotton, and 6% is man-made cellulosic. So that's viscose, modal, tensile lyocell, acetate, cupro is all in the man-made cellulosic category. Now, Lenzing only makes 1 million tons of fiber. So we're really small in the scheme of things. We're less than 1% of all fiber that's produced in the world. And so it's really more of how we can work together because our products complement each other. And we can actually bring more softness, sustainability, and strength when we can blend our fibers. And that's, I think, really more of what we understand is that it's not that we're competitors, but there's a lot more that we can achieve when working together.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Tricia, for your comments. And now I'm going to go to our Indonesian panelists, representative from Indonesian companies. How important is collaboration to today's business? Each of you compete in one area or another. Do you see the need for more collaboration between companies, less or about the same amount? Ladies first, Ibu Ana.
Pak Imam, Penn Brothers is always about collaboration. Always, always. Because we believe on teamwork. We believe that several heads are better than one head. And like Bruce and Tricia has mentioned earlier, that having a lot of options in the market would cater us within the industry to also supply to the market where 7.2 or 7.4 billion of people of the world has areas of demand too. So having a lot of collaborations with the fabric mills, with spinning mills is always the key of element of success of Penn Brothers for now and future. I mean, like what VJ has mentioned, we do have fabric mills and we deal with MB as well. As what Andy has mentioned, we, even though he always has a garment, but Penn Brothers is always embrace even any garment suppliers or garment garment manufacturing in Indonesia. At one point of time, I said to everyone, and this is true to my heart, there's no garment in Indonesia that is our competitors. we are one. Why? Because we actually have the same social issues, we have the same regulations, we have a lot of challenges that we have done. So understanding, if you walk into the mall, if you walk into the official store of any brands, it cannot be done by only one group of companies. For example, even if we draw down into the fiber uh, that are being sold by even one small, I'm not talking even global brands here, one small store, it goes from natural to synthetic fiber. So yes, definitely collaboration is our number one sustainability part. So it's actually part of our sustainability, because when we talk about garment especially, you have collaborations from end to end. So it's not just vertical, but also horizontal wise. Yeah. And transparency and communication is part of that collaborations here, because trust needs to be built for us to have successful collaborations. And trust is through time and through transparency and communications, of course. Back to you, Imam.
Thank you, Ibu Ana, for your from the heart answer this morning. And now I'm going to go to Mr. Vijay, same question. Do you see the need for more collaboration between companies? Mr. Vijay, please.
Ma'am, what we understand that Cotton USA and Lenjing also, they are leading a same program on sustainability. And I am very happy to see both the organization, they are doing a fantastic job on the sustainability, and their partnership really going to benefit not only Indonesia, but the global textile industry. You see that we import at least 300 ton of this all fibers, modal, tencel, micro modal, micro tencels, and we successfully spinning all this variety and blending with cotton. Modal cotton blends are very practical and very demanding, and modal tencel blend is also in Europe very demanding. So what we see, these organizations are not different. They are complement to each other. And with their collaboration, definitely we have more and more knowledge in all these products, which can produce a more quality and whatever different market also we can cover. So this is excellent. And what I understand, the Lenjing is a front company for innovation. They are working for this recycled waste referra. Now they are putting plant in Thailand also. That is also very interesting, because in Asia you have a production. So we have faster delivery. We can serve to our customers. Very immediate requirement also can go like this. Now we have to import everything from Austria. So what I see in textile industry, always competition is there, because so many mills, so many products, so many things are fighting each other. So however, it's important to make a collaboration, partnership among the friendly mills also, with the supplier also, like Cotton Protocol, Cotton USA, and then Lenjing also. It will be very interesting to see in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay, for your answer. And now I'm going to go to Pak Andi Trisna. How important is collaboration to today's business practices? Pak Andi Trisna?
Yes, I agree with the question that textile business is very competitive, but I believe that collaboration is still very important. It allows us to share any new ideas, to share any best practices. It also allows us to share solutions to the same issues that we face together. It allows us to learn from each other and grow together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Pak Andi Trisna, Mr. Vijay, and also Ibu Ana for your response and your answer for that question. Dan Bapak Ibu, para peserta webinar pada pagi hari ini juga bahwa bisa dikatakan kolaborasi antar sektor tekstil sangat penting untuk keberlangsungan masa depan bersama. Dan seperti tadi disampaikan bahwa US Cotton dan juga Lenjing meyakini bahwa dengan melakukan kolaborasi dengan negara lain ataupun dengan organisasi dan institusi-institusi lainnya, benefitnya antara lain bisa mendapatkan exposure lebih baik, terkait transparansi dan juga sustainability oleh perusahaan tekstil dan juga produsen kain ataupun juga garment untuk dunia. Dan sekali lagi kami ingatkan, kami persilakan kepada Bapak Ibu peserta webinar pada kesempatan kali ini bersama dengan Cotton USA. Jika ada pertanyaan silakan jangan ragu-ragu untuk Anda tuliskan di Q&A box dan juga melalui Q&A button yang sudah kami siapkan. Silakan sepanjang webinar ini, silakan Bapak Ibu layangkan pertanyaan supaya kita ingin ya bahwa semua bisa kita bahas bersama dan semua pertanyaan bisa kita jawab. Once again, we would like to remind the audience that if you have any question regarding our topic today, that you want to ask to our panelists now, please use our available channel or room for Q&A. Now, we're going to have a quick break with another polling. Ayo, get ready. Please look to your screen. This is going to be our second polling. Get it around again. Once again, for this polling, just choose one answer. Just click the button or the circle di depan, in front or before the choices that you have on your screen. Untuk polling kedua, silakan Bapak Ibu bisa memilih dan mengklik di lingkaran yang ada di depan setiap jawaban ataupun pilihan yang bisa Anda pilih sesuai dengan apa yang Anda yakini. Innovation and new product developments are needed by my company for cellulosic fibers such as rayon or tencel, cotton, polyesters, blends of cotton and other cellulosic fibers, or blends of cotton and polyester. Silakan dijawab. Okay, please do vote now. Yeah, this is gonna be a short and quick vote, quick polling. Yeah, I think you're gonna have like 10 seconds. Now we are waiting for the answer, for the voting result. Once again, innovation and new product development are needed by my company for cellulose fibers such as rayon or tencel, cotton, polyester, blends of cotton and other cellulosic fibers, or blend of cotton and polyester. And the result is coming. For cellulosic fibers such as rayon or tencel, 9%. Cotton, 26%. Polyester, 3%. Blends of cotton and other cellulosic fibers, 40%, and blends of cotton and polyester, 22%. Thank you so much for your vote. And now let's get back to our webinar, and we are going to the topic number 3. We are going to talk about the importance of natural fibers and its competition. First, I'm going to go to Mr. Bruce Atherley and Ms. Tricia Carey. Both of you represent the natural fiber industries. What will be the trends in the future for the natural fiber business? Do you anticipate there being more demand for natural fibers? Mr. Tricia first, would you please answer that question?
Thank you. Yes, we do see that there'll be increased demand for cellulosic fibers. Actually, it's predicted that for man-made cellulosic fibers will increase 4 to 6% per year. And this is not only in apparel applications, but also in textile applications for home. Non-wovens is another growing area for us, footwear, and also packaging. And as Vijay mentioned, Lenzing is addressing this by adding a production facility in Thailand. So this facility will make about 100,000 tons of Tencel lyocell, and it's projected to open in 2022. So we are continuing with our expansion plans even during this time. As far as products and what innovation, we see that the consumer is more interested in the products and what their garments are made of. And they're asking more questions. So as we look at developments and for the future, we have to look at the concerns of the consumer. So increases in interest around transparency and traceability is very important. For Lenzing, we have a fabric certification program, so we can provide that certification throughout the entire supply chain. Also, we see more increased questions around end of use and afterlife. So this is where biodegradability and compostability is very important. And that's where, we also understand that there's some challenges with synthetic fibers related to waste and what happens after life. So these are some areas that we see are important to the consumer and are ultimately important to us in any product innovations and future developments.
Okay, thank you to Ms. Tricia for your answer. Now I'm going to go to Mr. Bruce Atterley for your response or your answer for the same question. Mr. Bruce, please.
Well, I completely agree with Tricia. There's a lot of really promising consumer trends that bode well for the growth of natural fibers. You know, I think and, as everybody knows on this call, is always that trade-off between that super low cost of polyester fiber versus the increased cost of cotton or value-added lyocell. So, you know what? It's always a trade-off. And what we're hoping, I think one of the big opportunities and one of the first opportunities we've ever had to crack that polyester high share is with the microfiber pollution. I think the microfiber, pollution that comes from polyester garments and the research that's shown that ends up in our food supply, ultimately after it ends up in our rivers, lakes, streams, and oceans, is the single biggest opportunity we have as a natural fiber group to communicate and get consumers to be aware of that. And I think that could really help turn the tide against polyester, along with the other trends that Tricia mentioned. But we're going to really have to get the message out about microfiber pollution, I think, to get ourselves growing, at the rates that we need to grow again.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bruce, for your response, your answers. And I think I'm going to go to Ibu Ana, Mr. Vijay, and also Pak Andi Trisna, to our Indonesian panelists from Indonesian companies. What do you think? How important to your business are natural, sustainable fiber versus synthetics? And what are you hearing from your customers about the demand for natural fibers, like cotton and the different cellulosic fibers? Ibu Ana, your response?
Again, like what Tricia and also Bruce mentioned, when we talk about product, right, we are not just talking about performance or deliverance of a product when it becomes a finished goods, but also about price. And unfortunately, the world could not accept more price if the performance of the products is the same or even less. So what are being discussed here, actually since last year, we are, I always eager to actually push on this natural fiber, because for me personally and also for the world, this natural fiber, despite the sustainability, is actually more comfortable than synthetic. However, the world right now is more into performance functionality of the goods. And I have to admit that synthetic or polyester, it's not just about price. The performance that can be handled. For example, a lot of people do a lot of sports these days. It's not just only running or hiking, but also a lot of other things like biking, even walking and so on. So the kind of comfort level that we need to have within the natural fiber need to also break the barrier of sweat, of dryness, quick dry, and how we actually can perform using the fabrics that are part of the natural fiber. So yes, indeed, it's very, very important actually for us to showcase all the performance, not just the price, all the performance and the technology behind the fabric developments based on the raw material ingredients. And last year, actually, we discussed further with CCI, with US Cotton, as part of our journey back then on USA Cotton USA, so that we are able to actually reform the understanding of the industry on how to actually enhance the performance of cotton. Now we are actually discussing actually also on rayon and natural fiber, Tricia. So this is the kind of knowledge and within the subsectors of industry that we could actually break the wall to make sure that the demand is there, because we have introduced technology into the product development or fiber or fabric development. It's very, very important because like I said earlier, 7.2 or 7.4 billion of the world could not only love polyester, surely. We also will love natural fiber and everything else that the earth can actually show. And sustainability is always part of this product development and technology, always for me and for us in Penn Brothers.
Thank you, Buana, for your answer. Now I'm going to go to Mr. Vijay. The same question. How important to your businesses are natural, sustainable fiber versus synthetics? Mr. Vijay, your answer?
Yeah, you see that my opinion is slightly different, because this is the era, what we see with the COVID-19. Every people will aware about the health, hygiene, and sustainability. So we would like to save the environment, although we are fighting with the low-cost polyester, what mentioned already. And but the lot of items are there, lot of new developments are there, which is by lenging and the blending with the cotton, like tencel cotton. We have supplied some of the garment to functional for the athlete also, for this games also. So which is very successful compared to the only polyester what we used to have. So this people now would like to understand, and I think the demand for natural fiber will increase. Polyester, people understand microdust problem, the static charge problem. This is always there. There is no other solution. But now it's not the price only. Now people need comfort. If they're looking for comfort, looking for hygiene, healthy, environment saving, then definitely this both type of fiber, cotton and all natural fiber will grow. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay, for your response. Now I'm going to go to also Pa Andi Trisna. The same question. How important to your businesses are natural, sustainable fibers versus synthetic? And what are you hearing from your customers about the demand for natural fibers like cotton and the different cellulosic fibers? Pa Andi Trisna.
For Cartex, both natural and synthetic fiber are important for us. One of our products is fleece fabric, which is made by blending cotton and polyester. And while both materials have their strengths, there's definitely a trend. For example, recently, especially in ladies' wear, there's a trend moving from polyester to tencel because it is much more comfortable. And while polyester has properties such as better waterproofing, I believe that recent technology in cotton finishing will allow cotton to closely match the performance of polyester. And we can also see that there is a trend in customers to prefer more natural and renewable and more sustainable materials, such as cotton and tencel. Thank you.
Thank you, Pa Andi Trisna, for your answer. Now, finally, we're going to talk about polyester. The consumption rate for polyester is growing year by year. What can our industries do to increase the demand for natural fibers, which are more sustainable for the environment? And I think I'm going to go to Ms. Tricia for your response for this question. Ms. Tricia.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I think there's three main areas that we need to work on, and that's education, innovation, and collaboration. And I think this is echoed throughout many of the comments that we've had in this discussion. And education needs to happen at all levels. So that's at the consumer and straight through to the retailer brand knitter, weaver, spinner, from the raw material standpoint. So education is key, and the message needs to be clear. As far as innovation, and this was discussed, whether it's blends, whether it's how we can bring more performance in, innovation is key in order to drive, continued purchasing and to continue to really thrive in business today. And so, for lensing, we've also come up with some different innovative products like a filament lyocell, which we call Lux. So innovation can happen in many different ways. And the third is collaboration. And this goes back to the SDGs, and this is SDG 17. And, this has certainly been echoed throughout the conversations. And what I like to say is, now more than ever, we see how interconnected we are in the world during this pandemic time. And it's not about a supply chain collaboration, because that's only as good as what happens before and after. It's really about a network of collaboration that has to happen. And that's from raw material straight through to consumer and all the steps in between. So it's our network coming together to really make that change.
All right, thank you, Ms. Rusia, for your answer. Now I'm going to go to Mr. Bruce Atherley with the same question. What can our industries do to increase the demand for natural fibers, which are more sustainable for the environment? Mr. Bruce, your response?
So I mentioned one earlier, and I can't emphasize the microfiber pollution education for the consumer enough, because I really do think that's the key. But there's a couple others, to Tricia's point, we have to do more on education around the advantages of natural fiber and around innovation. I think there's an opportunity in non-wovens and the PPE market, which, and also, by the way, in Europe, they recently passed single-use plastic regulation, which is creating big opportunities for fiber besides polyester to be used in, product categories like diapers and feminine care and all kinds of other non-woven products. So I'm hoping that kind of regulation coming from governments will yield, more opportunities for natural fibers. So I think there's that combination of, it's kind of push and pull. I think we have to push on the advantages of natural fibers versus polyester. And I think we also have to work hard to convince governments that natural fibers are more sustainable and fit the needs of the consumers and their countries, and get them to regulate against using more polyester, because it's choking the oceans, it's choking our supply chain or our food chain, etc.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bruce, for your answer. Now, I think I'm going to go for some comments from our Indonesian panelists from Indonesian companies, from Ibu Ana, Mr. Vijay, and also Pak Andi Trisna about the same question. What can our industries do to increase the demand for natural fibers which are more sustainable for the environment? Maybe a quick comment from Ibu Ana.
I think three parts that we could actually focus on. First of all, I agree with Tricia and Bruce that it's not only about the supply chain, but also about the end users. And having the education's knowledge on what could be done and what are the parts that are good for the end users, and what kind of product development and technology that we could induce for this natural fiber, it would be benefit for the whole demand in the industries. And second, as always, this is, when it comes to textile, let's be very pragmatic and realistic. Despite everything we want to supply to the world, not just particular segment, right? So price competitiveness, price performance is always the key. So how each of the subsectors within the industry understand this is also part of the success of this natural fiber journey. It's not only about innovation, product development, but also beyond that is how these innovations and product development can carry through to the cost level that indeed either the upcharge would not be as much as before. Yeah, because right now, especially after COVID-19, the economy of the world, we are talking about the world, is depleted. Everyone has contracted economy. So regardless that, yes, we all want sustainability, but then we also want to have our economy to be sustainable. And for that, we need to also have a lot of interactions within the industry, how we actually can propose this natural fiber to be more pragmatically used, but also to be more price sensitive for the customers that demand these products or these natural fiber products. And then last but not least, how we can approach this is the full circle, the whole ecosystem of this natural fiber from end to end, including the waste after the goods are being used by our end users. So we call this economy circle. I think later on, perhaps Andy from Caltex can actually also advise us, because I know for sure that all of us within the industry and also Vijay himself can know that right now the economy circle of this textile and garment, because according to the world data, the second largest pollutions of the world is because of textile and garment. So this need to be addressed by us, by all of us, so that there is no miscommunication. Because when it comes to textile and garment, yes, it's not, frankly speaking, it's not only about polyester or synthetic, but also about natural fiber and cotton, because the earth cannot absorb as quick even for natural fibers. So the economy circle, the full economy circle, is something that we all need to address within the subsectors of the industry. I heard this data is really well known, that textile and garment is indeed the second populated ingredients for the world pollutions. Not just ocean, yeah, of course, also the landfill and so on. Back to you, Imam.
Thank you, Ibu Ana, for your answer. Now, before I go to Pak Andi Trisna, I'm going to go to Mr. Vijay first. Same question, what can our industries do to increase the demand for natural fibers, which are more sustainable for the environment? Pak Vijay, Mr. Vijay, your answer?
I agree with Ibu Ana, the price, performance, and sustainability. That is the key point. But the education is the main area where we can inform all the consumers and educate them about all these points. And definitely cotton blends, the rayon blends, there's a good chance with blending with the polyester, and we can go cotton rich type of blends. And different applications are there. Recently, the last 2-3 years, we are making towels, which is from modal loft and blending with the cotton. And there is an excellent demand. Although prices are high, but people need this type of material. Although we have started in just I show, this is the model loft. This is the model loft, which is specially produced. It's a bulky, high denier model, and blending with cotton is going 50-50. And the same, we are producing the towels out of this and selling in Indonesian local market. Although we are not selling, we are just promoting all these things. Yeah, but this is excellent product, which is people like. Once we are delivered, they are asking again and again. So it seems that blending and polyester also blending with cotton, rich cotton, will be more sustainable, and the demand will be there. People are ready to pay little price for the health, performance and flexibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay, for your response. Now I'm going to go to Pak Andi Trisna with the same question. What can our industries do to increase the demand for natural fibers which are more sustainable for the environment? Pak Andi Trisna.
Yeah, I believe that this is where Cotton USA and Lenzing really shines. By advocating to the brands directly, would definitely drive the trend towards natural fibers. And also educating the benefits of natural fibers to consumers can really help, especially on a global scale. For example, the World Cotton Day, that really educates the benefits and reduces and clarifies some of the misunderstandings of cotton, for example. And regarding Buana's question regarding the waste in textiles, as I mentioned earlier, one way we can reduce the impact is by using newer machines, especially in the dyeing machine, that uses less water. So less water means less chemicals needed, less energy needed to heat the water, and less wastewater. We also recycle a lot of our water, a lot of our wastewater, and we also process the wastewater to the international standard, for example. And another way we can continue to have a positive impact is by following international standards. For example, the most recent one we have is Cradle to Cradle, which looks at the process of textile to garments from the fibers and ultimate product to see the entire impact on both social impact and environmental impact and how we can have a positive impact. Thank you.
Thank you, Bapak Andi Trisna, for your response, your answer. Also, thank you to Pak Vijay, to Mr. Vijay, dan juga and also Ibu Ana. Bapak Ibu dan para peserta webinar pada kesempatan kali ini bisa dikatakan bahwa Cotton USA meramalkan bahwa akan terjadi peningkatan permintaan untuk kain ataupun garment yang berbahan dasar alami. Dan kesadaran konsumen terhadap dampak lingkungan semakin meningkat dan kebanyakan mereka akan mengurangi konsumsi plastik karena plastik diasosiasikan dengan polusi. Itu sebabnya semakin banyak konsumen yang mencari produk berbahan dasar alami. Dan alami tersebut seperti natural cotton dan Cotton USA memiliki solusi alami yaitu kapas yang dapat didekomposisi dengan aman dan didaur ulang. Untuk penggunaan sekunder dan sehingga Cotton USA yakin dalam mempromosikan Cotton USA yang terbuat dari natural fibers. Baiklah Bapak Ibu dan juga para peserta webinar, now I see there are a lot of question coming in, but before we go to the Q&A session, thank you so much for your question. Be patient. We're gonna ask a few of the question, but before that, we're gonna go to our polling number 3. Okay, let's be interactive. Let's see on your screen. We're gonna go to our polling number 3. All right. Can you see? All right. In the future, the demand for textile made of natural fibers compared to synthetic fibers will grow as follows. We have 3 choices. Demand for natural fibers will grow higher than for synthetic fibers. Demand for natural fibers will grow the same as for synthetic fibers. And demand for natural fibers will grow lower than for synthetic fibers. Once again, you can vote for the polling number 3 here. Okay, it's gonna be quick polling. In the future, the demand for textile made of natural fibers compared to synthetic fibers will grow as follow. What do you think? Demand for natural fibers will grow higher than for synthetic fibers, or demand for natural fibers will grow the same as for synthetic fibers, or demand for natural fibers will grow lower than for synthetic fibers. Okay, let's vote. Okay, we're gonna see the result in a moment. Okay, it's gonna be a quick vote, and the result is coming. In the future, the demand for textile made of natural fibers compared to synthetic fibers will grow as follow. Demand for natural fibers will grow higher than for synthetic fibers. It's 59%. Demand for natural fibers will grow the same as for synthetic fibers, 24%. And demand for natural fibers will grow lower than for synthetic fibers, 16%. Thank you so much for joining us for this last polling. All right, it's time for our Q&A session. We received many questions from all of you, ladies and gentlemen, or participants or attendees for the webinar. Many of the questions already answered directly by the panelists. And for all the remaining answer or maybe unanswered question will be answered by email to you personally. And now, okay, I think that's about it. Once again, many of the questions already answered directly by the panelists. You can, maybe you already have the answer right now. And we'll be answer all the remaining question by email to you. So, I think we reached the end of this webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are at the end of today's webinar with Katan USA. Hopefully, we all learn many things regarding the industry and how to sustain the business in this pandemic, while at the same time, prioritizing safety and health for people around us. And it is great to see that the Indonesian textile industry, or API, or API, and Katan USA have had such a strong relationship during many years until today, and it will continue for many years to come. I would like to say thank you to our panelists. Thank you so much to Ibu Ana Sutanto, to Mr. Vijay Agarwal, to Bapak Andi Trisna, Ms. Tricia Carey, thank you so much, and also Ms. Bruce Atterley. A big appreciation to you, and also Dr. Andy Du. And before we end this webinar, we will do, it's a mandatory to us, a virtual photo together with all panelists. Okay, let's see. Right after leaving this webinar, this is important to us to hear from you, hear to your personal feedback about our webinar number 2 of today. This will allow us to plan more webinars in Indonesia from Katan USA in the future. Once again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Terima kasih Bapak, Ibu, para business partner yang telah hadir meluangkan waktunya untuk bergabung bersama kami di webinar dari Katan USA. See you at the next webinar from Katan USA in the near future. I'm your host, Imam Wibowo. Stay safe and healthy, everyone. Selamat beraktivitas dan sehat selalu. Selamat pagi. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a good day. Thank you.